Their offlaner is All Might. I'm pretty sure you're a fan of that one, Asterai. Mage for Zero is their mage. Fayaz as their marksman. Obex as their jungler. And Deadman as their...
Yeah, and for obviously gods, we got Shakar on the offlaner, Shaiken as the mage, Forsaken with the marksman role, Perfection on the jungler, and Emo Blaze as our observer.
Yes, sirree. For Alliance, I've heard they had their 2-1 run against Nada's Vanguard as their last match with an epic backdoor as well to secure their spot at the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, obviously, gods here, in their fight against, their fight against Exiled, I feel like they need to repair their decision making, as sometimes they get a little bit too tunnel visioned on kills, and sometimes teams would take advantage of taking other things out of the map like towers and such. So I feel like maybe they learned yesterday and they could do an awesome job today against Alliance.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that. So we'll just have to see. Well, we're not yet about to start our drafting here, but again, what are the picks that we should be looking out for, especially from OG? Just double checking my statistics here, and what it seems to be a focus on.
They love this. I think they like the Mina pick. They have used the Mina pick, and I believe we were the ones that say, hey, maybe the Mina is not that effective, but at the same time, they convinced us that they pull off an effective Mina as well. And of course, also Wariel and Lindis is also one of OG's popular picks in their draft.
Yeah. So it's going to be pretty interesting to kind of see how they can top off what happened from our second match between Serenity and Infected. I mean, Serenity really brought the pain there. Lots of I would say pressure from game number 2 and game number 3. You thought that Infected would actually finish strong on the second match, but it really didn't happen for them. And like you said, OG still has some kinks to work out with their playstyle, as it isn't really strong in the early game. So anyways, the draft is ready, so let's get into our first banning and picking here. Who will be our victim for the ban? Superman is always a nice thing to get out of the board, and there you go.
Yes, and normally we see Zephyr's ban. I guess it depends. Maybe a Murad ban could come off here, but I guess it's one of those things where they could gauge their enemy, and they probably have scouted Alliance already, and so they decide to go for that Zenial. Now we've got Murad, which has been a very popular pick at day number 2, and OG, I feel like they pull off a really good Ariel Alice combo as well, but Ryoma is still open, but Mass has already been utilized by OG yesterday, so I am not surprised if they do lock this in.
I mean, they might have decided not to actually go for to take away the Zenial. They have the only presence hero here, but they decide for something else a bit more explosive per se with that Joker and Zephys. Although I might not be a little bit comfortable with this one, as they are giving away for that Max. They could have maybe have gone for Joker Max. I think that would have been also a nice hero, and Alliance is going for all-out Bruiser as they go for that Max and Resh. But of course, obviously, gods will counter with an Alice.
I absolutely agree with you there, Astra, because if they went for the Joker Max, they wouldn't go for the Zephys pick because they already have a John. So I guess it's one of their priorities. Maybe they're scared, I don't know, because some people would love to play, would also play Zephys on the side lanes, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, going back to the Alice, would this mean it's going to be a last pick L'Oreal, or this Diao Chen hover could be just a ruse? But I guess not. And I feel like Violet, Diao Chen, we've seen this before. But again, not gonna be a surprise if they lock this L'Oreal in. G obviously super comfortable on this Alice L'Oreal, which has been played in their matchup between Exiled, and it worked wonders for them. So I'm assuming they'll do the same this time around. Then again, Diao Chan, obviously a very situational hero, I'm not really a fan, mainly because she's very one of those low mobility heroes. Gonna rely on those sneaky brush ults and stuff like that, just try to get that combo in. So we'll have to see.
So we have to see indeed. The last pick as well, not only looking to be more comfort pick for gods here, but definitely, like you said, it does put out the point where Diao-chan is more of a slow, methodical mage. So definitely L'Oreal kind of counters that with her same mobility, but at the same time, we did see a match, I believe, on day number 1, wherein a Grok and Diao-chan was utilized here. So to a certain similar extent, we should see something like that with the Crash and the Diao-chan, wherein Crash activates that, gets a couple of stunts, Diao-chan gets in with the flicker possibly, and then kind of kamikazes it with ultimate, slowing everybody down and leaving a frozen trail for that Violet to follow up. But just like maybe the optimal way that I'm seeing for them for use it. It could be something else, but yeah, this Diao-chan is going to be a kind of make or break mage. Not really something that we do see every day. And like you said, you weren't expecting to see this on our day number 3, but she has appeared into the field. And, well, this might have catch OG off guard, but we'll just...
Yeah, I mean, the Murad pick, I'm a huge fan, mainly because it deals a huge amount of damage, especially AoE-wise, and there is going to be a Violet that tries to finish off those targets. If you added a Diao-chan in, that would mean either the CC comes first, then Murad comes in, the temporal turbulence, or vice versa, just to finish off each other's targets. Yeah. And with Max in, that's going to be an additional CC for the side of, Lions, which I think is going to be effective, but I feel like it's just going to be hard to pull off, mainly because OG has a very solid comp as well. They've got the Malak to dive into the backline and just harass them and annoy them, so it's easy access to the backline. But you know what? I think that's all the time we have. I believe we're about to head on to a match, so I'm going to pass it to Luxuria and Acer.
All right, so I was definitely waiting for start that off. Anyways, guys, my name is Astra. Here with me now is Luxuria, and we'll be casting, the third match of the night. It is obviously Gods or OG versus Alliance.
Yep. So we saw a really aggressive invade once into that Sage, and now onto the Mai. Let's see if they can actually get away with this.
Not trying to run away, and they will be able to sneak away like the smooth criminals that they are. Yow! A little bit of that Michael Jackson in their veins, and that's gonna at least it's gonna give them a little bit of that extra gold in their pockets.
Yeah, I'm really liking why All Might is actually on that max. Imagine every single time he uses liftoff to join his allies, and he goes like, "It's fine now." Why? Because
I'm here. Ah, you see, I have a My Hero Academia fan here. Hello, hi. My name is Asarai. What's up?
My name is Luxuria. The ceiling's there.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, puns aside, or informalities aside, definitely a good kind of pickup here, because again, the Max here kind of works the same way as Daniel, but a little bit more offensive. You get yourself that global ultimate, plus when you get into the thick of things, you just get that more AoE centric damage output, but at the same time, you do have a faster rotation compared to the Malak, who has to kind of rotate from that side to this side. But from the looks of it, it's not really going to be Max versus Malak. It's actually a Max versus Joker in the top.
Yeah, it'll be a Max versus Joker, but happening in the bot lane, Shika actually is trying to stop that of Babe Man, from trying to contest that initial Abyssal Dragon, and once again, Might Golem getting stolen all try by the side of OG, and will be taken away successfully. So OG definitely putting down a lot of aggression, not wanting Murad to scale at all and be that offensive pressure that Alliance has.
Yeah, I like this, because if you think about it, if it was the Malak on top side, he might actually be in a hard matchup against the Max, but because it's a Joker, he can stay at range, he has more damage output, and the Malik can actually, help out here in the bottom lane, but Forsaken is gonna go to infinity and beyond to find his man, get that kill, set the Sentinel as well, and just to finish what I was saying there, is you get that Malik to actually help out with the first big objective of the game, which is this Abyssal Dragon. It kind of works out well for OG here.
Yep, it definitely worked out well, but then at the point in time, All Might look like, he is probably saving the world somewhere else and not quite in the game. But let's just wait for them to actually solve their connectivity issue. But just talking about this, so coming into this early game, obviously I do actually favor the team comp coming out from the side of OG. And only reason because of Alice, right? So much CC early game. You have your stun, you have your speed boost, and once you hit that level 4, which you recently just did, and you have that hissy fit. And if the team fight goes for a very long time, we saw once, right? And Riku actually pointed it out, 3 hissy fits in one team fight. That is a ton of CC.
Yeah, a ton of CCs. We'll have to see that a little bit later, as I believe we are going to be seeing the next Abyssal Dragon come into fruition. All of our players now have gotten past level 4, so ultimates are rather abundant here for all of them. And we're just going to be waiting for that next objective. And it seems like, obviously, Gods will be the first to try to secure this one. Hissifit in the middle of it all. Nice catch-up, nice knock-up with this Zephys just knocking everybody up. Oh my goodness, here we go. Samasha comes in from the Max, and he actually saves the day as he makes it very difficult for OG to kind of follow up on this damage output. Shai Khan versus All Might. Who will win is going to be Shai Khan with the fadeaway on that L'Oreal. And it seems like from what looked up to been, obviously, Gods netting an easy 2K, it looked up to be a counter kill for Alliance, as they also get a 2K out of that one.
Yeah, but with that, pretty much even out, across the board, 3 kills, but because of the kills that's exchanged, of OG cannot quite, go according to their plan. So basically, I think they're trying to go in for the aggression, get away the Might Golem, probably take away Murad from the equation, and then move on into that of the Abyssal Dragon. But who cares about having the number advantage or not? They will be starting this Abyssal Dragon out.
Abyssal Dragon 3v1 for this moment. Can he get the steal? Yes, he does. And Bedman puts that to rest, pun intended. Shakar activates the shock there just to spot out his opponents and even, just block their exit path. They're trying to run away, but it's not going to be enough. Even though he gets the steal on that Abyssal Dragon, he had to let his teammates actually be cannon fodder, and that's not what you want to happen. Now here comes All Might. He says, like you said it, he is here, actually tumbles over the wall and even finds the L'Oreal there. So what it looked to have been obviously Gods with an advantage is now being capitalized upon by Alliance as they use that Max to full use. Now All Might spotting out I Am Boss here, and behind him, can he go for the kill, and may he go for the dive? It's not really going to happen. But at the same time, on the top side, Forsaken is solo pushing, getting towers for OG.
Yep, 2 towers in the name of OG, all because of Forsaken. So very well played from this Joker. Obviously, Max, when you have to leave your lane. So all this while, we are not seeing Joker coming into play whatsoever, right? It is always because Alliance have got the number advantage, and Joker do not quite have the global presence. I want to say just yet, but he'll never have that global presence anyways. Yeah. So he can't quite move around as swiftly, as fast as that of Max. And with that in mind, OG is actually playing, very, very well for the fact that they do not have the number advantage firstly, and in fact, they are doing 4v5s half the time.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing here that I guess all OG has to be worried about is that, you said it already, there's not going to be much mobility on this Joker. So if he tries to go soloing on the top side and you have an assassin ready who can actually deal with him, albeit the Murad or maybe even the Violet, we might see him, not be as good. So he has to go with his team, and they're doing it right now. So they're actually playing it safe. They know that he can't really do it by himself, and this is gonna be All Might. He's just gonna go for the execution kills because that's what the Max does. He's basically a a finisher, so to speak, but now he's gonna be in a really weird position here. There's gonna be the Crush activating the Metamorph just to push everybody back as Alice will try to reposition himself, going back in behind the walls here as members of obviously Gods is looking for an opening. At the same time, Alliance here is looking for that damage output, but they clearly can't set up for the meantime. Huge chunk of shield there just for themselves to soak up a little bit of damage. Here comes the Murad. Temporal Turbines activated in the middle of it all, and Emo Blaze is in very critical low amount of HP. Has to back away, but Abyssal Dragon is up for the fight. Joker will be joining in onto the fight here. Spots out Bedman, no more ultimate for this crash, and he should go down, but that Murad is making it super work for themselves. He does get obliterated as Joker goes in with the combo nation, as now Zero is trying to run away on this Diao-Chan, but has no much enough range to actually go and get the Frost onto Forsaken, and now Forsaken is in a bad position as Fias goes in, smashes down from Shakar, but there is the turret taken down, and this has been a messy fight. 3 for the price of 2, and Alliance comes out on top.
Yep, 3 for the price of 2, and on top of that, that was a really long team fight, and just judging from the team comp throughout, like I mentioned earlier on, when there's a long team fight, usually, you know, when you have a team that has got tankier heroes, you'll definitely come out on top. And especially if you have a very reliable backline damager like that of Diao-Chan and, of course, Violet as well. And, of course, we cannot discredit the amount of poke that Murad has actually placed down even before the fight actually begun. So that is definitely good play coming out from the side of Alliance. However, they cannot quite secure this Abyssal Dragon. So even with the kill advantage they had in the earlier team fight, they couldn't quite translate them into any form of objectives.
Yeah, it's just a messy fight here. It's just, you can see how both of these teams, I mean, it looked like it could have been mistakes for both of the teams, but they're just that good that they can actually get all of these pickoffs, you know, or rather these trade-off kills. But in any case, there was a little bit of mistake there on the side of All Might as he was, you know, caught unawares that he was blasted to infinity and beyond by obviously Gods. But now they are going to be forcing themselves onto this bottom tier 1 as they immediately back off. They can get the bottom tier 1, but they do bait out the ultimate of the Crash. Definitely a huge team fight changer there that they are baiting out here, so they can definitely maybe come back and even force that Abyssal Dragon if they so want to. His Ifit from Emo Blaze is still available. I think, well, that was happening. Mid-tier 1 was taken away by the Murad. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that mid-tier 1 was still up there before, yeah.
Yep, so Alliance definitely doing a very good job, right? Just basically splitting up the aggression throughout the map. So even if OG is here, they will try to find a return somewhere else. So I'm really liking that from Alliance. And we saw OG, yes, they have things to iron out. They have, you know, their plays, their macros, their strategies all together. They need to iron these things out. But even then, they are playing pretty well for the fact that, you know, they are pretty stumbly when we saw them in yesterday's games.
Yeah, it's a much cleaner, or at least a much more contested execution here for OG. There was a nice amount of poke there on Shaikhan, but Emo Blaze, as he joins in onto the fray, he has to back away for the meantime. And, I mean, there is a little bit of an advantage in terms of the net worth or the gold worth here for OG, but it really hasn't transitioned into them getting much control of this game. It's been a little bit back and forth, but as you can see with this transition, OG is looking to get that Darkslayer.
Yep, they may be trying to get a Darkslayer or just looking for a gang onto this Diao-Chan in that of the mid lane, but ultimates are all up at this point in time. Crash can easily use the Metamorphosis against the wall, and Shaikan once again, key target for obviously, or rather for Murad. And you know, it will enter a stalemate. It is basically Serenity versus Infected all over again when they are just finding it so difficult. Oh, as I'm saying that.
Oh no! Oh man, why? There's no honor among thieves, and they steal that kill onto Shaikhan. He was just standing by in the middle of the fray, and it seems like Alliance will capitalize. There's the pause. Ooh. No.
Well,
I don't know.
Tonight they're not a hero. But even then, hey, it is what it is. If you're stopping the minion wave from coming in, we have to do what it takes to take, you know, to just, you know, basically stop you. else you just hold the wave there and
Oh,
you cannot progress to anything anyway. So I'll give them that. I'll give Alliance that they killed it because of compassionate killing. Because they needed the game to go on rather than.
Okay. I thought it was because I love you. I have something like that.
Okay, but anyway, so the game wise, okay, rather the game so far, right? It will enter a stalemate, and basically because both teams they are finding it difficult, right? Max now they're just basically roaming a lot simply because of how Joker have pushed in. So when your tower is pushed in, firstly, you obviously open up the map for your own team. However, you give more leverage to your opponent's team if you're not putting pressure in that lane to just move around as well. As we saw, Max can easily just move around, and when the wave builds up by the top lane, he then goes back to clear it. So that is one thing that we have to understand, when it comes down to MOBA, when you are down to the last, tower, you can actually just put pressure then, especially when it's a DS lane, and then try to pressure down that lane and then move on to the DS or something. But if you're giving them breathing space, they can basically just roam around the map anyways.
Yeah, and we're seeing that, happen already for this particular match. Another thing that I'm gonna be, not really, but kind of curious right now is how this is gonna kind of scale into the late game. What do you think about this one? I mean, we are seeing both of these teams kind of play it in, albeit a stalemate type of play style or a stalemate type of situation. And I mean, getting longer and longer to this game, I feel like it should be Alliance here. But I mean, there is obviously Gods that has a Joker and a L'Oreal as well, but Alliance has the Violet and maybe even the Diao Chan. So it's very kind of confusing to see who will get that power in the late game if we do, go for a rather long stalemate. But never mind that. Iron Boss goes down as he was pinned to the ground by Violet, and they are faltering one after the other, as obviously Gods is obviously not omnipotent anymore. The Gods have fallen, and that's going to be a 4K for Alliance.
Well, what I saw that basically was a literal stalemate. All the heroes were just standing still, but even
stand still.
But even then, Alliance picked up kills for themselves. Good for them. Good on them. Picked up a tower or two as well with that, and we will be entering another pause. Hopefully the players can sort out the connectivity issue. It is a very unfortunate one because it is the first game of the third match, and furthermore, this is the quarterfinals. They are playing it big now. The stakes are high up there. It's no longer the round of 32 or the round of 64. At this point in time, it's really important to just not even show a card, just play better, play well, and hopefully get into the playoffs. The grand finale finals that will be happening tomorrow, and obviously it's for bragging rights, right? So hopefully the players are all back. There you go, Shikar, everyone. Okay, I'm just keeping track of them and the mini map up. Yep, they're all back. It's all fine right now.
Yay, welcome back to the fray. But was that enough to actually allow Alliance to get back into this one? But I mean, in terms of the goal, it's really about neck and neck. And like you said, it all is about that bragging rights and the chance to get that majority of the prize pool of 5 lakh rupees. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but hopefully I am. In any case, oof! Ooh, can you feel the Murad tonight? I believe I can, because that is, that was just emanating from the screen. I felt that from all the way here. That was just painful as heck. There will be the activation of the Malik of that ultimate, but I think it's just a tad bit too late. He goes down as the Violet nets a double kill, and she is just going to town right now, right here. And the tumbles are going to be real. Batman will be put to rest there, but the damage has been done for the price of 2, and Emo Blaze will be the last man standing here. That core is exposed, and will you get that W? There is a wave in the mid, and I feel like they might be able to actually do this in time. Joker is here. He gets the Violet there, but there is going to be the last hit on that core, and game number 1 will be netted by Alliance.
Wait, you said Joker is here as Joker died. I need to watch the replay to see what really happened. He went in, picked up a kill, and then suddenly he just went down. So that was pretty mind-boggling. But however, going into the second match, I have more faith in OG as long as they sort out their issues going to the second match. But however, I do not discredit that of Alliance. They played very, very well, especially that Max.
The possibility of them kind of pushing back into the next into maybe a game number 3.
Hey.
Hello, are you back?
Yep, I'm back. I'm sorry for disconnecting just now. It's just something just touched the wire or something. Probably my cats. But anyways, I was talking about just now. If I actually remembered. Let's see what's my point. But anyways, so have we actually watched the replay? I'm really interested to see what Delchan actually did to actually just insta-kill that of Joker as he comes out from his base and try to salvage the game for them.
Yeah. Let's see. I didn't actually see that too.
Yeah, I mean, it was way too fast. It just basically Delchan just did something, bam, bam, Joker gone. So we will be entering this. Oh, okay.
Oh. Well, never mind then.
Okay, yep, never mind. No replays. It doesn't matter. But anyways, a quick rundown of that particular game itself. I do not discredit Alliance at all. Granted, OG experienced some issues with connection, but however, Alliance did play very, very well. Murad got invaded in the early game, but even then, right, could manage to pull through and put down the damage at the end of the day. So that is the most important thing after all. And on top of that as well, All Might, Max, just able to sacrifice the top lane, right? Which is not something the most strategic thing you can do. But obviously, with sacrificing the top lane means that you can actually roam. So that helped out a team a lot, much more than when you have the Joker just pushing solo down the top lane with no follow-up whatsoever.
Yeah, they just rotated their heroes quite well for the whole game actually. So yeah, even though again OG had some issues to work with, definitely Alliance there weren't really something to kind of take lightly. They definitely put a huge and great amount of pressure against OG. OG were up to the task, and we'll just have to see if we do start that drafting for the second game here.
Yep, I was really interested. I'm actually interested to see what Riku's input into the game. Though, granted, in the later part of the game, it is pretty much shaky for the side of OG because of connection issues. But even then, it is the early part that played, the early into the mid part that actually played out most for both of the teams because they were relatively even, and then suddenly Alliance just got one Abyssal Dragon, got a kill or two, and then bam, they just went down the mid lane, got down a tower, and they just were filled with so much damage never quite seen before, especially from Delchan.
Yes, sirree. Thank
Oh,
you.
there you go.
Yeah, I'm here, man. I do agree with all of your points, and actually, yes, on paper, obviously, gods should win that late game when L'Oreal comes online, being supplemented by Alice's kit, and then you paired with a burst from Joker. Everything is just gonna be very painful for Alliance. Meanwhile, for Alliance, I am a huge fan of the Murad pick because whenever we do sieges or they do sieges, it's so easy for the Murad because everybody is just practically just behind the turret and he can just push that temporal turbulence and then they'll be forced back and therefore it will equate to a turret hit. It looks like for the MVP we have Bedman as that crash, that awesome and effective roamer or observer.
Yeah, look at them stats. 2-1-11. Definitely no deaths on this guy. Able to absorb all that damage and be in the middle of the fight without even, being taken down by OG. And the damage, and of course, that's a crush rate. It's nearly not going to be high, but damage taken. Look at that. Basically, he was a sponge, absorbing every single or majority of the damage output compared to his teammates, really allowing them to kind of, do as they will. And now game number 2 draft is ready. So let's just go into it. Let's see how OG will kind of play around here. Murad is gone.
Yes, no, not really. It's a no-brainer here. Obviously, Superman gonna get taken out of the field there, but that's gonna be an insta Zephys pick, which OG picked earlier, which would mean, okay, will we pick this Senyo because it's gonna be available, and at that point, obviously, gods will be forced into that rotation to consume a slot for that max next round, and it could be a L'Oreal that could be accompanied next here for obviously gods, could be a L'Oreal Max just to try and equalize that global presence. But Ryoma is a very strong pick. Looks like they decided to go for that Zephys and Kimi matchup or pair in the jungle. It's gonna be an Alice as well. So if it's an Alice lockdown and a Diao Chen as well, then it's going to be another magic resist sort of supplement. It will supplement rather that Diao Chen here if they do lock in the Alice, which they won't.
Yeah, Diao Chen, again, I think is just more favored by Alliance here because she kind of resets the tempo if you can find the targets to freeze or to slow down. So I think Alliance are kind of, having this niche particular hero in their lineup and it works for them. So they won't really, put that out of the equation and even put the Crickneck into effect here. I believe Crickneck is a really good hero to kind of catch off the Zephys as well as maybe even, follow up from the L'Oreal once he gets into that point where he can one-shot people or at least combo people in, and we'll just have to see how that kind of pans out.
Yeah, it just means that I feel like Alliance does not fear the L'Oreal pick at all from OG, even though it's one of their comfort picks. It just means that they're ready for it. And with that said, I feel like, Diao Chen is that one unique pick on the side of Alliance, which I really like. Again, not a fan because of the low mobility Diao Chen offers in the composition, but at the same time, the CC and the huge AoE CC, to be specific, will just really help combo everything in and just hold everybody in place. Plus, it's not a prey to pick, but it's still a decent amount of wave clear.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I think one of the rather Teamy looks to be like a very uncounterable hero, right? But if you put into the scenario wherein you actually, let's say, take out the Teamy and his being a bro target, and then you put the Diao Chen in the middle of that, set up her AoE, even though it takes a long time, the revival as well takes a long time, or at least takes some time. So you kind of set them up for a follow-up that they can't escape that scenario. So it might actually be a pretty dirty answer to the Teamy being a bro saving play. So, I'm kind of looking forward to see how that actually interacts with one another. But I feel like maybe the reason also why they got the Diao Chen, even though, like you said, she's very freaking slow because, Elsa let it go for 2 hours in the movie, and it seems like it might happen here for Diao Chen in our game. It's because you don't want that teammate to have no, like you don't want that teammate to use being a bro and feel comfortable about it. He has to be in a position wherein he has to be safe rather than any situation is a good situation.
Yeah, especially aside from that as well, most of the picks are definitely in your face. So if Jiao-chan just tries to maximize that, oh, it's going to be very effective. But I think the game is ready, so let's head on over to game number 2. Go, Asteroid and Luxuria.
And go we shall. My name is Asarai. Of course, I'll be your caster now. Never, or at least I was your analyst. And of course, joining me here and now is the luscious, lovely, and ludicrous Luxuria.
Ludicrous. Well, whatever happened to Latinum?
I don't know.
Lieutenant. Okay, I swear you have this thing for L's.
Because your name starts with an L, so yeah. It's like a matching thing.
Matchy. All right, let's see. Ew, oh, that's fast. The first blood going over to Alliance a minute into game. So just talking about draft itself. So we do see All Might on Ryoma this time, and we know that Ryoma, right, in the late game can put down a lot of damage, and with the ultimate, he has got decent sustain as well. Obviously, he cannot stack the ultimate just because he hits multiple target, but the first target he hits, he gets sustained from from there. So Ryoma can be a threat, especially in that mid game. So how Ryoma generally scales, or rather from what I've seen so far, is that he in the early game he's a decent threat, right? Not high mobility, actually pretty high mobility. You can put on a high burst of damage. When it comes to the mid game is when Ryoma truly shines. However, when it comes to the late game, Ryoma is an easy target. If you lock him down, if you lock him down, then so basically, if you lock him down, then he's an easy target. You can take him out of fight pretty easily. And I really like how what you mentioned. I'm not sure if the stream is still going on because everything is off. But anyways, I really like what you guys mentioned, where you actually punish Timmy for actually using being a bro, and that is an important thing to cover, especially if Jiao-chan can actually pull it off. It will be very, very impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And again, that's one of the things that I'm super curious to see here, like you said. But now we will be starting off this Abyssal Dragon. Hopefully no more issues, as we want these teams to have the full, the luscious, the
ludicrous,
focus all of their mindset or their power into playing this game number 2, because this is already match point for obviously gods, and if they can't come back from this one, push it into game 3, obviously Alliance will succeed them, go to that best of 4 or that round of 4, and it's all sayonara here and say goodbye, hasta la vista baby, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But now Afaya is going to get caught out there. 2 versus 1 actually blasts them apart as Jiao-chan goes in with the frost. Here comes the Zenial, and Hallelujah goes in with the let it go, let it snow, and he goes down, getting that 3rd kill for Alliance.
Well, Alliance looking very, very strong here coming into this second match. Not as shaky as the previous one, especially when they have the Quick Knack on their team. So if they actually... This is bothering so much, Deco. But that is the kill going over to Quick Knack. And here you go. You actually missed a great pun just now, all their this, all their that, and then you could have just went with all their might as well. I mean, Ryoma is just that, and here we see.
Here we see Emo Blaze being set on fire as he is being chased down by 2 members there of Alliance. He goes down, say goodbye. Just, be a little bit of an emo on the side there, but of course he's going to come back into the fray. But that is what I'm talking about. The Quick Knack going in, breaking back, and he is just bringing it downtown, hometown for Alliance here as they are starting to spike up pretty dang early into this game.
Yep, I mean, just looking at them, 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in, and then you are seeing a 4K goal lead for the side of Alliance. They have one Abyssal Dragon to their name, and in 11 seconds, 10 seconds actually, another one will be coming up soon. And they are posturing themselves around this Abyssal Dragon. So let's see if the side of obviously gods can actually take away this Abyssal Dragon from them and try to soften the goal lead. They have the teaming after all. They should be the stronger one in this early game. However, they cannot quite find those engages that they truly need. And here we see the dance around Abyssal Dragon.
Dance Abyssal Dragon, indeed. There was a point there wherein I believe that was All Might and the Zephys, or rather the Kriknak rather, was just waiting on the brush, and on the opposite side of the brush there was also the Wonder Woman just, you know, dancing around, going 360, waiting for someone to actually come out. It was basically the game of chickens here, you know. Bakak was waiting for someone to actually come out and then maybe engage upon them, but because they waited too long, that's going to be Alliance to get the second Abyssal Dragon of our game number 2 here.
Yep, Alliance looking very strong, like I mentioned before. And here we see Iron Boss now on that max. However, he's not doing the sacrificial thing where he goes down and help out his teammates. Instead, he's holding on to the top lane because they know Alliance have got a Zenio as well. If Max travels, then Alliance, not Alliance, but then Zenio will travel as well, and it will be, you know, it will not be much of a number advantage after all. But just looking at the levels throughout the boards, we're not seeing any clear spike in terms of level. Like in one of the games, we actually saw a level 15, and then the lowest level in the game was like 11 or was it 10? So, but we're not seeing it this game, however.
This game, however, they are going to be initiating upon Ryota in this teamy, and he activated being a bro, so he should actually come back into this one. The Zenyo tries to dive in. Here comes Shrikon on this L'Oreal just to give them support, and 4 members immediately gets responded here by obviously gods, but I mean, that was just a respond rather than a retaliation from OG. And into the bottom lane, you expected the Wonder Woman should be pretty much uncontested here, but I mean, shield versus spear. Spear kind of trumps the shield, and don't you say so, as All Might is bullying the Amazonian herself in the bottom lane with the help from this Kriknak. Might actually explode upon her opponent, but the teamie is there to hold her hand and actually get the counter kill. Although on the other side of the spectrum there, Fayez on the top lane gets a kill onto this Max. So it's 1 for 1, so it's not too bad. And Bedman activates his ultimate into the mid, maybe getting the catch onto Evil Blaze, but he just skadoodles on out of there, gets level 9. And this is actually still anybody's game, and Shakar is in a little bit of a weird position, loses the bot tier 1, has to back away.
Yep, they will be backing away, and you know, sometimes when you actually rotate to help out teammates, it may be a very good respawn, right? You are doing it because of response. But then what happens then when you have to dedicate 4 people up to just hold on to your top lane? I don't think that is the most strategic thing that you could have done. You could have just pressured other lanes and then forced, you know, them to just scramble all about. But that didn't come through for the side of obviously gods, and now we see Abyssal Dragon.
Yeah, speaking of scrambling, you saw Alliance there kind of forcing out all OG. And OG definitely respecting their opponents. But at the same time, there is the Joker on the top side. But mutual respect here for OG. They just give this one to Alliance. And I don't know, this isn't really what you want to see. This is 3 Abyssal Dragons already in the fat pockets of Alliance. And I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of don't want to give that advantage to them, plus towers as well, going into the hands of our top side team here.
Yep, so top side tower down, bot side tower down, and it's just looking really gloom for the side of obviously gods. I mean, OG, they played decent in that previous game, but here we see a liftoff.
I mean, Ryoma is going to be in a bit of a pickle here. He actually flickers over the wall. There is that response from, I believe, the Diao-chan, and immediately they do disengage. So not really much was transition or benefited there from OG. And because of this, again, because OG didn't really commit to the Abyssal Dragon, because they were just trying to passively defend their towers, they don't have any more control on the top and bottom, allowing Alliance to kind of, you know, possibly even bleed to their jungle here. and have more control around the map.
Yep, that may be the case, but 4 men in that mid lane trying to put down a lot of pressure, trying to take a tower for themselves would be obviously Gods or OG. Dark Slayer is already up, so now it's basically the Abyssal Dragon that will be coming up in 30 seconds, but All Might here getting ganked.
Getting flanked, but there is, of course, the Zenial from up above to say to All Might that I am here. You know what? All Might lost his power. Sorry, never mind. Spoilers. But it's gonna be Obex on the Kriknak who will be going for the possible kills here, but he will not be able to get it. So, but they do push out OG and force him back into base.
Yeah, but in the top lane, I Am Boss picking up a return turret for the side of OG. So trying to soften the gold lead here. There is about a 5k gold lead, not all too much. It is still, you can still be able to, you can still recover from a 5k gold deficit. However, obviously the items wise, level wise, you will be lacking. But hey, when you have so much tank on your side and you just have to rely on that of Zephyr's and your L'Oreal to just put down the damage, and the damage coming out from Wonder Woman, not all too shabby as well. So let's see if obviously Gods or OG can actually hold up till the end. I Am Boss going very, very low.
Very, very low, just from a Zenial who is smacking him in the face. You know what? Zenial's weapon is a book. If you get smacked by a book and you take damage from that, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. He is doing running to people. Yes.
Wait, Asra, have you never been young before?
I don't know. What do you mean by that?
Have you never been smacked by a book before?
So I've been smacked by something else, not by a book though. Yeah.
Okay.
I have also been young.
Okay. Okay, but anyways,
a little bit like yeah, a little bit like Indiana Jones, you know, with a whip.
All right, I like that sound already. But here we see in the top lane, 2v2, basically 2 tanks going up against 1 MM and a tank. So obviously God trying to find spots where they can step and they can find their footing on, but it's just looking really, really tough because they're not making engages. Firstly, Emo Blaze.
Oh, hello, I see you, Emo Blaze. No. He actually goes over the wall and spots out the Diao Chen and like, I see the Diao Chen, but then, you know, I mean, with that in mind, there's going to be a lot more teammates around that vicinity, and he did not respect that fact, and he just, you know, got punished heavily for that one. Ryoma, on the other hand, he's going to be poking out at his opponents, and a quick fun fact here, if you didn't see, I believe Ryoma only has his left hand. No more righty for him, so, yeah.
And you're losing to a person with one hand. Okay, yes. There you go. Mid lane.
Mid lane is going to be a little bit of a fight here as the Diao Chen actually gets the root onto 2 members as Zero is now trying to run away, and everybody just collapse upon these 2 members of OG. They go down, and that's going to be a 2-0. Any plans to get onto the Dark Slayer? I'm getting a little bit of an interview here onto Alliance. No, we're just going to go in and push into the mid territory, get that. You know, the high ground tower is going to be much more effective here. But it seems like they're just going to try to get more kills, and Emo Blaze, once again, he just respawned, and he's not going to, well, go down, but still 2 very low HP.
Well, very, very good push coming through from the side of Alliance. However, they did not get those big objectives. I mean, the mythical beast that's just sitting by the 2 ends of the map. But as I'm saying that, Dark Slayer, it's getting started out. All Might try to go in for the Might buff, but too bad. Not so much of a luck for All Might. But now Abyssal Dragon is still up. However, in this mid part of the game, where Abyssal Dragon, yes, it grants you XP, it grants you extra gold for your entire team, it gives you a further gold lead. It just seems to me that Alliance is not prioritizing that anymore. But as I'm saying that, oh my, you dirty, constantly trying to prove me wrong. There you go and take the Abyssal Dragon. Yeah, feel your tummies even more.
Yeah, objective-minded is the name of the game here for Alliance, and they have gotten every single major objective that is there to be had, and with that, it results them in a 9k gold advantage, and that is huge, humongous, gigantic, enormous, titanic, as you want to say it, everything that pertains to
big,
exactly, is in the pockets right now of Alliance, and this is basically just containing obviously gods. They haven't contested for either one or any of these objectives, and they are, well, in dire straits, Lazuria.
Well, you could have just read in the description of my mic as well. No one can quite forget your mic. But coming to this pause, great time to actually break it down. With the Dark Slayer buff, with a 9k gold lead, they can easily just push down this high ground tower. However, they have the man advantage as well, right? 5 men versus 4. Max is still up in top lane. And with that, if they actually push on high ground tower, knowing how Alliance have played in that first game, they can easily just push in as well with one single push. So this is a time that OG really have to just buckle up as saying that Rio 2 goes down.
I mean, Teamy has good mobility, but once you get caught by a Diao Chen, it's all over, player. He gets obliterated in the blink of an eye. Here comes going to be the Max with the lift off, but he actually cancels it mid-air as he doesn't want to be in the middle of that humongous, powerful alliance. They get another kill. No, it's just only going to be the Teamy, but now I Am Boss is trying to run away as there is going to be this bug slapping him down, and the bug that once was swatted is now swatting people in mid-air. There is going to be the Uroma trying to run away with this the spears being poked out, then left and right. But it seems like it was a little bit too bad. There is going to be the Zenyo to try to make this happen, but that was just too much damage from this Zephyrus as well as the Wonder Woman. Now, they can try to make some objectives here, but there is nothing to be had. Dark Slayer as well as Abyssal Dragon is out for the count, so they can only hope to take down a couple of towers here.
And this will be big for the setup of Obviously God. Like I mentioned it earlier on, as long as Obviously God can try to shoot a set of Alliance away, especially when you're pushing into a high ground tower, that is a dangerous spot to be in. You have the turret, you have the tower to protect you firstly, so it's basically a 6v5 kind of situation that you know Alliance saw. So with that, they actually just managed to push through, got the tower down, however, not run away in time. Obviously, we saw some ballsy plays coming out from the side of Bitman and Zero on that Daoshan, and they're basically trying to make plays there, but we cannot quite deny the damage coming out from, you know, Wonder Woman and even,
What was that? Oof.
No steal. That was I thought there was a steal that would be happening, but no steal at all. So I guess all is fine and dandy for their side, at least for now. But ultimately, if you'd ask me, OG still stands a chance. A very slim one at that. But as long as they can fight, and then they can pick out the key targets. Because just look at the team comp itself, we are seeing that the set of Alliance is much squishier team comp, right? Obviously, God, they have a much tankier team comp, and on top of that, Ancestral Glory picked up by Ryotu, so you can revive and then use your Being a Bro again. So then it will be difficult to take them down, as long as when he's using Being a Bro, he's not getting punished by that of Doja.
I Am Boss is a little bit overextended here. They have the possibility to actually go for a catch-up, and they too. They could actually go for the win right now, because if they lose too, that's going to be very difficult to actually get away from. Zephyrus goes in for the flag, but of course, the Diao Chen has the flicker to go over the wall, and Zephyrus cannot follow, and that's going to leave 3 members of Obviously Gods right here and now to fend off for themselves, but it seems like they're coming back from downtown. They get the 1 kill. Zenyo has the shield, but this is going to be a 1 versus 1 with the Max getting the heal already with the lift off, now punishing at this Craig neck, and like you said, because they have that tanking ability, they are still surviving here. But Badman, oh my goodness, this is a sneaky little boy right here, as he will be porting back into base, and they had no idea that was happening right on the side of the brush there, and it seems like Obviously Gods are stopping the inevitable here and kind of, you know, coming back into the fray.
Yep, what happened then really in that particular team fight, we saw Daoshan left alone with Emo Blaze. Emo Blaze was going hard, going on to Daoshan. Daoshan was left alone, and then when the team finally realized, turn back, try to save Zero, and what happened then? Because you turn back and you try to go back to your allies, you give your opponent a chance to just put down so much more damage. And furthermore, it wasn't a team fight that was had that's 5v5. Instead, it was Joker that joined in later on, and then you have Max, full health, using the lift off, coming, bam, takes you out AoE stun. So, with that in mind, Alliance really have to recount, right? Take a couple of steps back and understand how they should play coming into this late game itself.
Yeah, late game itself. And speaking of late game, this is about to be our second Dark Slayer. Should be up and running in about 40 seconds. This is a highly contested objective for both of our teams. And now that they spot that the Zenial is far away from his opponents, they're just going to charge upon him, and he's going to try to run away. Maybe even use his ultimate to actually get away from this fiasco here. But he is absorbing a lot of damage. But where's Alliance? They're going to go for the push into the mid lane. And now only Max will be defending that one. Zenial has gone down. They have to port back into base. Do they have enough time? Do they have enough damage to actually go in for the backstab? A backdoor player. They're going for it. The damage is going to be real, and Alliance will take it. Holy, yeah. And well, Alliance, dirty plays, but that is just part of the game. Sayonara, OG.
This is what that I was talking about when the game started. When you want to invest players to take down one particular player, you have to think through whether or not you should actually push the other lane. Would it be more worthy to push the other lanes, or to just invest 4-5 players onto one particular player? That was what they did in the early game. They failed quite badly, and that is what they did in this particular last part of the fight as well. So that is one thing for OG to think about, maybe when they sleep tight with their loss tonight.
Yeah, don't let the bed bugs bite, because that one bit them in the butt really hard. And I mean, that was just tunnel vision. Like they thought that, Alliance here would try to save their teammate. They were like, no, why would we try to do that when mid is already open? Mid tier 3 has already been taken down by us, and there's not really there is backdoor protection, but in this late stage of the game, they have enough damage to bypass that damage reduction. And since they're four-man strong, and everybody else was just trying to chase down onto the Zenial, even though it looked like to have been a weird play, even though the Zenial might have been, the demise here of Alliance, because they didn't want to go for the fight, because they wanted to go for the W, get that main objective, he bought enough time for this to have worked. And well, there you go. Look at that. That's it.
I mean, okay, just imagine this, okay? Yeah. When if it's in the top lane, you spot a Ryoma, go for him, right? But anyways, let's hear what Riku has to say as I hand it over to Riku and Asteroid.
The thing is, remember, when the match started, we did mention one of the weaknesses of, obviously, gods is their tendency to tunnel vision. And we've seen these instances when they were against Exiled yesterday. And I felt like, yes, they need to repair their decision-making. And I just said as well that perhaps they have already learned from yesterday. Yeah. Because yesterday, what they lost were towers. But this time around, they lost their core. And obviously, Alliance, knowing the fact that they did that backdoor against, Nada's Vanguard on their brackets yesterday in a 2-in-1 fashion as well, it just means that they could use these sneaky tactics. It just means that they have backdoors in mind. So knowing the fact that it's a tendency of OG to do these sort of things, then it's something that they could take advantage of, which was apparent in our game number 2.
Man, that was basically like, if you have your mobile device and you are in that particular situation, I feel like that's when your point where it's like this, and then bang, it's like mobile device breaking place there. Like you are just pretty much infuriated with that one. And let's have the MVP of the match from Alliance. We have Zero as the Diao Chan, 4-1-11, 10,000 in terms of the gold, damage done 21%, and damage taken 17%.
Yeah, I really like, I said time and time again, I'm not a fan of the Diao Chan, but they made it work because it sort of counters, obviously, gods. Why? Because most of the heroes in their draft are very short-ranged. L'Oreal, even though is a ranged mage, she's more of a in-your-face type of mage. I'm gonna be dancing around in the battlefield. But what Diao Chen offers is a lot of control, which would make room for Joker. He has that space needed, and therefore Cricknack as well can dive pretty much on one of the squishy targets, and he's quite bursty as well. And again, good distraction methods from Alliance, knowing that it's not only a battle of drafting, not only a battle of strategy and mental fortitude, but also knowing and studying the weaknesses of your opposing team, and they took advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, nothing much to be said after that one. It was an opening, and they went for it. So, you know what? Why not go for it? And because of that, they win this best of 3 with a clean 2-0. Although game number 1 definitely could have been obviously gods, and maybe they could have even pushed it to game number 3. But kudos to OG and congratulations to Alliance. They'll be performing, or they'll be competing tomorrow for our round of 4.